Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and it's Friday, so you know what that means. It's Friday Fun Day, and I have a fun little pattern to share with you. This is our little snowman. He is a coaster. He wears a little hat. He's super easy and super cute. Now, I wrote this pattern, oh my goodness, I think it was in October of 2014. And we decided we needed to update the pattern with some new pictures and a brand new video. So why not do it for Friday Fun Day? Now, it's super cute. You can do whatever color hat that you want. And I love his little snowball hands and feet. It's a great way to get rid of some of your little pieces of cotton yarn. Now, I did this in cotton because it is a coaster. How about my snow woman? But you can also use it as an applique. You can add it to a package as a gift tag. You can even put a hook on it and use it as a Christmas ornament. So it's lots of fun uses. So our little snowman measures about 5 by 5 inches. What a great gift to give to anybody who pops by your house during the holiday season. I think it's adorable. And of course, it's perfect as a coaster. All right, let's find out what we need to make one and get started. I grabbed this gold placemat that I have from my dining room table just to make it easier for you to see the white instead of against my white table. All right, so you're going to need some cotton yarn in white, but if you're going to use this as a decoration or an applique or something, you can use a medium weight number 4 acrylic yarn, but I'm going to be using a medium weight number 4 cotton yarn. And I'm going to use white, of course. I'm going to make the hat with green. I think that'd be super pretty, but you could use red, blue, whatever color. You can even mix the hat if you want to. You're going to need a little bit of orange to embroidery on the carrot nose and a little bit of black to embroidery on the charcoal eyes and mouth. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in ends and embroidering on the face. And of course, you're going to need a pair of scissors. We're going to start with our white because that's the color of a snowman. And we're going to start with our slip knot and chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. And then we'll tie that stay knot. If you prefer to use the magic circle or another method for making your circle, you certainly can. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now I'm going to stitch 9 more double crochets in this circle. And you'll also notice I'm stitching over that tail of yarn. And that's because we can pull that tail of yarn when we're done and close up the hole in the center. All right, let's see how many double crochets I have stitched. The chain 3 counts as 1, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'll stitch 1 more because we need a total of 10. There we go. We'll join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now before we go any farther, we're going to turn this over. We're going to gently tug on that yarn and it's going to close that hole right up. Then we can grab our needle and weave that in. We'll just go around And remember, I'm on the back side of my little circle. Make sure that's going to stay nice and snug. And you can wait to weave that in till later if you want to. I just like to go ahead and get it done. And so for row 1, we have 10 double crochets. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. Now for row 2, we're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. Whoops, missed my stitch. There we go. 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. Two double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And then we'll join back to our chain 3. We've stitched 2 double crochets in each of our 10, so we have 20 double crochets for row 2. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And for row 3, we're basically repeating row 2. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And this is going to give us a nice flat coaster. It's going to sit flat for us so we can easily put a glass or cup or can right on the coaster. So again, we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of our double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. Now there is an option where you can half double crochet in the front loops in order to form a little ridge in order for your cup to keep from sliding. We're not going to do that today, but you can see that on the written pattern that's down in the notes under the video. The link for the pattern, I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to make the snowball hands and feet. So we're going to slip stitch in the back loops only for the next 7 stitches. So you have a back loop and a front loop. We're going to be stitching in the back loops. And we're going to stitch a slip stitch in the next 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to make that first snowball. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to stitch 3 double crochets in the next back loop. 1, whoops, my yarn got caught, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch in that same stitch. Now we'll slip stitch in the next 7 back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 2, 3 double crochets in the back loop of the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, slip stitch in that same stitch, and then repeat. And we'll repeat this 2 more times. Slip stitch in the next 7 3 double crochets in the next with that chain 2 on both sides, and then we'll repeat that 2 more times so we have 4 of our snowball. 2 for your hands and 2 for the feet. So now I have 7 slip stitches and a snowball 4 times, and then we're going to stitch 7 slip stitches, and then you'll have 1 extra, and so you'll have 8 slip stitches at the end. You're going to join to that first slip stitch with a slip stitch and we're going to cut our yarn. All right, let's pull that loop to the back so it looks nice and neat, and then we'll just tie off to the back, and we can take our needle and weave this in. So my snowman is finished as far as the shape. We've got our 4 snowballs, and now we're going to add the snowman's hat. All right, so let's count up from the snowball on the right, the last one, and we're going to count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to join to the 6th stitch. All right, so now we're going to half double crochet right in that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's a little snug. 5, 6, and 7. All right, so we have 7 stitches, and look at it, make sure it's even. It might be kind of fun if it was sitting over here also. So if you wanted your hat sideways, like off to the side, you could always place it there or on this side. All right, so we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to stitch the first 2 half double crochets together. So yarn over, go in the first one, pull up a loop, then go in the next one and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through all 4 loops. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll stitch the last 2 together. Chain 1, so we've reduced down from 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do that one more time. We'll stitch the first 2 together. We'll stitch 1 in the next, and then stitch the last 2 together. And that's how we form the hat of our snowman. So we'll go ahead and cut our yarn, tie that off, and then we'll grab our needle and go ahead and weave these ends in, and then I'll show you how to add that tiny little pom-pom. So let's make the pom-pom. I've cut off a piece of yarn about 10 inches, maybe 8 inches long. Doesn't have to be real long because we're making a tiny pom-pom. And I decided I wanted my pom-pom to be red and green. So you're going to take your 2 fingers, and I'm using 2 strands, so I'm just going to wrap it 6 times. If you're using 1 strand, wrap it 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we'll take our scissors, cut that, set that flat. We'll put our string out and put that right on it. And now we're going to tie this nice and tight. And I like to tie 3 knots so it doesn't come out. There we go. And now we're going to just cut these. Cut those loops open. All right, I'm going to grab this bowl that I like to use to catch all my strands in. All right, I'm just going to kind of hold it. Oops. There we go. Those edges. There we go. And now I have a cute and adorable tiny little pom-pom. All right, so this is the front, so fuzzball. We're going to take our hook and we're going to go in and pull up one loop through there. And then we'll go to that next stitch that's right in the center there. Oops, I missed it. There we go. All right. That's going to be on the front of our hat, the pom-pom. And we're going to just tie this on in the back. Now it's okay to put a knot here because you're not going to have a cup here. It's not going to set on that pom-pom. And again, 3 knots, snugly tied. All right. Now I kind of take it and twist it and fluff it. All right, so there is the pom-pom. So I've threaded a piece of orange, about 10 or 12 inches long, onto my needle. And we're going to put the carrot nose right here in the center. And you want to make sure that you come up through stitches so it doesn't come out. Leave yourself a little bit of tail on the back. And we'll go through a stitch here. And the size of the carrot nose is kind of up to you. Sometimes I make them bigger, sometimes I make them smaller. And right now we're just making the shape, which is a sideways triangle. And then we'll just come in and fill it in. There we go. And I just keep doing it until I feel like that it looks good enough. I'm going to put one more stitch right there. And of course it does depend on the size of the nose that I made, because this one is a little bit bigger than this one. So it's just up to you. All right, and then we'll go in the back here and we'll weave these ends in and then embroidery on the charcoal face. All right, so what we want to do is start with the eyes. And it's up to you where you put them. I like to do like right around this row for the face, which is around the top of the second row or around. All right, so we're going to come up through a stitch. Again, make sure you come through a stitch and not a hole. Leave a little bit of a tail of yarn for weaving in the back. All right, so we're going to come in. And we're just going to go over that again. All right, now we want to kind of hide our stitch when we move. So we're going to go through just the back of those stitches. And make sure they don't show through on the front. Okay, and so here's where we're going to come up to make our other eye. And again, the size of the eye is up to you. It's important though that you don't use a French knot on this, because it will make a bump where a glass might tip over. All right, so now we're going to make the smile, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go under that black so it kind of holds that in place, and then we're going to go under these stitches just in the back to get down to where we want to start our 3 pieces of charcoal. All right, it's not going to be perfectly neat, but it's going to help it look a little neater. All right, so we're going to do the same thing we did for the eyes and just make 3 little sections. We'll go under those stitches. And you want to try to line this one's up with that nose. There we go. I want to make sure I'm up through a stitch though, not through a hole. There we go. Alrighty, so now my snowman has its 2 eyes and 3 charcoals. Now mine's a little off and I kind of like that, and what I'm going to do is make it look just a little bit like a smile and give it an end of a smile here. Like he's smirking. So you can use your imagination and do it however that you want to. All right, so I'm going to weave this in back here, being careful not to let my stitches show on the front. And you want to try to keep them flat, because remember, a glass is going to be sitting on this, or a cup of hot cocoa or something. All right, and I'm going to grab this one and weave it in, and then my snowman will be all finished. So here are my 2 silly little snowmen with their snowball hands and feet, all ready to hold your cup of hot cocoa, or coffee in my case. And remember, you can make their hats in any color and just have a little bit of fun with our silly little snowman. Wasn't that just so much fun? They're cute, they're silly, and they're easy. Coasters, Christmas ornaments, appliques are just for decorating. It's a great beginner project, and I think you're really going to enjoy making some of these. Silly snowmen.